Hello everyone, Professor Thompson here. I have some feedback and some information based on your first presentations and then some information leading into the end of unit number 2. So my first little piece of advice that you need to really remember is that you're reading the chapters, for instance, chapter 10, which talks about structure of an introduction, structure of a conclusion, transitions. It talks about the elements that go within introductions and conclusions. And then once you read those chapters, such as chapter 10, the goal is to apply that information into your presentation. And so that is one huge piece that was clearly missing in some of your presentations. I also felt that many of you didn't follow either the IAI State of Illinois requirements or you didn't follow the requirement sheet that was listed for the first speech. So one of those may have resulted in some sort of drastic reduction of your overall grade. For instance, some of you didn't cite sources. Not only does it talk about sources in the requirement sheet, but it also talks about this by giving you a handout within the unit. Some of you didn't have a visual aid. Again, that's a portion of the overall grade. It's talked about on the requirement sheet. Some of you didn't reference a visual aid. You didn't show a visual aid. You didn't talk about a visual aid. And so really kind of that hurt you by not following the requirement sheet. As just kind of a delivery aspect and a delivery thing, one of the things that I would go back to is that just because you are giving your speech and this is an online class does not mean that you don't need to practice. And I think many of you really lacked practice, preparation, and that's totally evident in the over-reliance of your notes. So you need to own your message. You need to know what you're going to say. You need to have planned and practiced multiple times before you record your speech. And then you need to really work on connecting with your audience within the presentation itself. So just as if you were in a face-to-face class and you would be listening to me talk to you about this every day leading up to a presentation, you should be doing this on your own as part of this process. So those are a couple kind of pieces of core and essential feedback for the first presentation. You need to make sure going into the next presentation that you are following the IAI requirements, those State of Illinois requirements. Those are non-negotiable. You also need to make sure that you're looking at the requirement sheet. What is expected of you? What's supposed to be in the introduction? What's supposed to be in a conclusion? What is supposed to be in the body of your speech? How are transitions articulated? Go back and review chapter 10. Look at pieces like chapter 10.2, the table 10.2 on transitions. This is important for you moving forward. Okay. Many of you got feedback this morning on your presentations, so you were able to look at the rubric. If you have questions about the rubric, please email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Also, I just want to remind you now that you're beginning to look at your grades, you can do some extra credit. You have only one extra credit opportunity and you can complete one extra credit chapter. It is a waste of your time to do more than one chapter that is listed in the extra credit tab. And it talks about this in both the syllabus and the schedule. But if you are interested in doing an extra credit chapter, you can definitely do that. Those chapters are 2, 3, and 7. And you can look at that information on the syllabus and on Blackboard. So that's about it for this morning. I do encourage you to work harder on your next presentations, and I look forward to improvement from what you submitted for presentation number 1.